Welcome back to Studio Chatter. Leta Greene is with us, and we are talking about how to overcome abuse.
You know, I really love Leta because this is a kind of it's a heavy topic, and yet here we are sitting smiling.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that? I know.
Well, because we love
so
it's easy to smile and you know, and
but
she's kind of funny too. Always cracking a joke.
I kind of tell people I am. It's funny because this topic is not something that I planned on speaking. I'm a confidence and resiliency expert. Mm-hmm. This is what I speak about. This is what the hotness factor is. Right. This is the brand. But I realized as all this came out, I joke that I was kind of drafted. But as the Me Too movement is picking up steam, I think we all can remember when we saw our first Me Too post. Mm-hmm. You know, what is that? And then I was like, good, we're having this conversation. This is so good. Mm-hmm. And then you see all this anger and we're like, okay, well, that's part of the cycle of grief.
Yep.
Right? We are allowed to have our anger and then we have our, and that's part of grief. And all feelings should be expressed because we don't, okay, well, I'm fine. Mm-hmm. That's how past generations have dealt with it, of just, and that is not processing. And I think that has contributed to this concept that we don't talk about even the good parts of human sexuality. Because there's just all this cumulative shame and you know, emotions come out in weird ways when we don't deal with it. Right? Absolutely. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. Everybody gets to have their feelings, but it just kept getting angrier and angrier and angrier. And I had this experience where I had the contrast between, I was, you know, speaking at a networking thing. I was doing all these power women things that I do. And then I go into the basement, because now I'm a mom, right? So I'm at the house and I'm, you know, awesome mom. And I go into the basement and I randomly end up finding a picture of the man that chose to molest me. You notice that I don't refer to him as my molester because that's ownership and he does not own me. So the man that chose to molest me, that was his responsibility. And all of a sudden, all my power is like, and I walked upstairs, you know, doing the, okay, I'm going to take me back together because I was going downstairs to grab something and my parents have a box of stuff. Anyway, and I just burst into tears when I saw my kids. And my kids are old enough, they've actually seen me be on the front line of helping protect other children. So they're at the age where this is something they know happens. They've had friends that have come to them, and I've been able to, with them, help their friend. Mm-hmm. So my kids are amazing and well aware, but they had never seen me cry about it. And my daughter went down and ripped the picture up into lots of pieces. And as I was thinking about the conflict of these two experiences in the same few-hour period, I just started having this conversation with myself. And I'm on Facebook and I pontificate a lot and I talk too much in person too, so it just makes sense on Facebook.
No, I actually kind of remember reading part of this on your Facebook page.
Yeah, and I posted it and then I was like, this is crazy. I probably should, I don't know how you come out to the world about being sexually molested for most of your childhood. It's probably not in a Facebook post. That seems a little... right? So I took it down. I woke up. This woman's like, why did you take that down? I wanted to share it. And I was like, right. That's why I took it down. I felt like we should probably clear a little bit. Talked to my husband. And my husband's just a perfectly awesome, amazing man. And he's like, you need to share that. So I share it. And it just went crazy. Hundreds of likes, comments, you know, like
What
over 100 shares. It was January 11th.
Okay, so the
this
Me Too
year.
movement kind of started like last fall, I remember.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm
So
correct. Okay.
I wasn't like, oh, the Me Too movement's now my time to speak out about
It was
this.
a little-
I was literally saying, this is what I explained what happened that day. And then I was like, this is what I would tell my 14-year-old self. I would tell her how amazing her life's going to be.
I love it.
Because when we speak with anger, when we speak with bitterness, we are telling people whatever their victimization thing is, that feeling is forever. That how they feel in that moment, that they are always going to be broken, that are always going to be hurt. And I'm like, no, look, my life's awesome. So we should be smiling. In fact, even more as I cry a little bit, because I'm like, wow, I didn't plan on being a spokesperson for this, but who better than me? Because there's so much evidence out there that I am a happy wife, that I am a happy mom, that I am a happy person, that I'm successful. And not that defines my value, but it kind of says, like, this has not held me back. And I am a happy person. And that happened. And because that happened, I am better. I am stronger. I am more empathetic. I am more loving. And though I would never choose to have that happen to me or to anyone else, I'm a better person for it. That's a destination to tell kids. That's a destination to tell people who've been victimized. It will get to this place. It will be in time and therapy and self-work and working on you. But you are not always going to be in the cycle of grief, of anger and resentment and pain. And you've given your power over to, it's another victimization.
Yeah.
And then we say, okay, well, now you're a survivor. Well, survivor, if you look at the synonym of that, it's the residue, the leftover. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Right? And I never really identified with that because I don't feel like this describes me or defines me. Why would I give someone who chose to violate the child I was that kind of power over the woman that I am?
Right.
And so though I've shared it when it felt right to share with people that could help them, here's the lesson. Look, I'm great. Though I've been able to, oh, that child's being victimized. And how do I know? I just knew.
Really?
I just have a sense for it because I'm like, oh, that's me. And I've been able to help so many people. This is great.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, pretty cool stuff. But there's so much more out there than being just surviving. So now I call the third phase of advocacy.
And that's where you are now.
Right. That I have been good for a long time. And an advocate, if you look at the definition of that, is someone who's been there, overcome, and lifts others up. And so I'm able to reach out to that girl and that boy that's been victimized, just as anyone out there who's had, if you're a breast cancer survivor, right? We have to, hey, go get a mammogram, right? Go do this. You know, we give our wisdom from our hard things, but why do I have to stay a victim? And why would I label myself under the power of somebody else? That's poopy.
Will you share? I think I recall reading how you came up with the title for the book.
Yes.
It was in passing, but remind me.
Okay, how much time do we have?
You have 2 minutes.
But it was a really cute story, as I recall.
So part of that original post was about the power we have as women, because it was kind of like a women anthem thing, how we don't take things from men, and that our real feminine power is our ability to love and nurture. And so there was this whole love thing, and we were driving down the road, and I'm like explaining to my husband and my kids, because I got a book offer within 12 hours of the original posting. So that was a little bit crazy. So my kids come home from school, and I'm like, hey, so mom's going to write a book if you're okay with it. You know, imagine having that conversation with your children. My kids were amazing. They were like, my daughter clapped and was like, you're going to help kids like this and this and this. And my son's like, well, you got to do what God wants you to do. And we're driving down the road, and my family is like, so it's all really about love. And my husband's like, well, love me too. That makes perfect sense. Love the little girl, the little boy, the person inside each of us, that whatever we think defines us, love that person enough to heal. Love that person enough to say, yeah, me too. Love is more powerful than anger.
I love that so much. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. And it has like another twist of the Me Too.
Right.
Like
I'd like to
play on
redefine
word.
it to be not these, it was meant as a, look, let's talk about it. I would like to change this conversation. That's a bold thing to say, because I'm, you know, just me, right? But I want to change this conversation to be one of hope, one of love and resilience and empathy and kindness and all of the amazing things that we women tend to have a lot naturally, but to expand that and not to ever think that bad things that happen to us diminish us.
Right.
They can become a gift. And I know that sounds like someone's yelling at the TV right now, but they can become a gift in time.
Yeah. So we as ladies here, how can we, if we know someone is going through something, be a comfort or
well, first of all, we can never blame the victim.
No.
We need to be there for them, and it's so much easier when we recognize that 80% of those that are victimized by somebody they know. Stranger danger is poopy. Actually, strangers can be pretty awesome to help protect you. If it's your dad or your mom or someone like that, you're going to need that. So we need to be talking to our children. from very young age, not about the dangers, but about body protection. And I have workshops that I'm doing now about how to talk to your kids. I have a children's book that's going to be coming out, lots of resources. And of course, the book is not my story so much as it is resources and tools and systems of how to get better. Okay. It's like a self-help book.
Your book is ready. We can buy it.
Not
Almost.
quite yet.
When is the release date?
Well, we're just waiting for approval for somebody we want to give money to on it, so I can't say that publicly yet. But if they give approval, then we're going to print, and so end of this month, end of September.
Right.
You're so awesome. Thank you so much
Right?
for
Who
sharing.
knew? Right?
We knew it.
We knew it.
And I have my own cup.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
There's more studio chatter on the way.